We usually picture ourselves soaring above skyscrapers, healing from mortal wounds, or maybe bending reality itself with a snap of our fingers. Comic books have literally spent nearly a century selling us this beautiful dream that supreme power equals supreme freedom. But in today's explainer, we're going to look at a character whose power is so uniquely unyielding, it completely flips that entire script. So we're talking about Blackagar Boltagon, the Midnight King of the Inhumans. Now, casual fans often mistake him for a mutant, but in the lore, his biology was actually uniquely altered in the womb by alien Terrigen Mist. But here is the real thought experiment for us today. If that exact biological mechanism was suddenly transplanted into your ordinary, fragile, everyday human body, what would actually happen? You might think you'd be ready to bring cosmic conquerors to their knees, but trust me, your life would not become an epic adventure. In reality, if you were granted this legendary power right this very second, your life would instantly end as you know it. Within 24 hours, without even meaning to, you would inadvertently level your entire city, wipe out everyone you love, and drive yourself into complete psychological ruin. I know, it sounds impossible, but when you break down the actual physics and biology, it is absolutely terrifying. Let's look at exactly why. Section 1, the mechanics of destruction. To understand why this is such a terrifying curse, we really have to look under the hood. Most people think black bolts is just, really loud, like a supercharged megaphone. But that's completely wrong. This actually has almost nothing to do with ordinary acoustics. He is manipulating particle physics at an atomic level. His body acts as a cosmic battery, drawing in ambient electron energy. So, whenever the speech center of his brain fires an electrical impulse, meaning literally any attempt to form a sound, a gasp, or a sigh, that energy violently discharges and disturbs electrons in real time. Just think about the sheer, terrifying scale of that power for a second. A quiet whisper doesn't just carry sound. It unleashes a kinetic, concussive blast that can reduce a mountain range to fine dust. An unrestricted scream actually rips a hole in the fabric of the galaxy. Now, imagine that cosmic, reality-breaking power living inside of you. You aren't an alien royal who spent 15 years in a soundproof isolation vault rigorously training your mind to be silent. You're a noisy, unpredictable, ordinary human being. Which brings us to Section 2, involuntary human reflexes. Think about your daily life and how many violent muscle spasms your body forces you to make entirely without your consent. Let's just start with a really simple one, a sneeze. You cannot reason with your diaphragm when a sneeze begins. Your body violently expels air at up to 100 miles per hour. For a normal person, someone says, "bless you," and life moves on. But for you, that is an extinction-level event. Because the second that air rushes past your vocal cords, instantly a 5-mile radius is obliterated. Your family, your pets, and your entire street immediately become a smoking crater of radioactive rubble, all because of some stray pollen in the air. And honestly, sneezing is just the beginning of your problems. What happens when you stub your toe on the coffee table in the middle of the night? You don't calmly evaluate the situation, right? You instinctively yelp, or you shout a curse word, or you suck air sharply through your teeth. In that split second of visceral, unavoidable human weakness, your instinctive yelp of pain levels the entire apartment building you live in, crushing dozens of families beneath thousands of tons of concrete before you even realize what you've done. Now, consider getting sick with a stomach virus. Vomiting is this intense biological purge that forces sound, air, and pressure aggressively through your vocal cords. Surviving a routine bout of food poisoning would mean literally digging a hole straight through the Earth's crust as you uncontrollably fire continent-shattering blasts directly into the bathroom floor beneath you. Or think about just catching the winter flu. Choking on water or having a dry throat triggers an uncontrollable coughing fit. For you, every single cough sends out waves of electron disruption that collapses bridges and smashes cars. And a sudden hiccup, that acts like a spherical artillery shell, demolishing absolutely everything you look at. Just having a common cold would make you more dangerous to human civilization than an invading alien armada. Section 3. The terror of sleep. So, if waking life wasn't bad enough, let's explore the darkest vulnerability of human existence, sleep. Every human must sleep. But entering REM sleep means handing the trigger of a cosmic weapon directly over to your subconscious. A gentle snore blows your bedroom apart. A sleepy midnight murmur turns into a localized bomb. And sleep apnea, that sudden gasp for oxygen, detonates like a missile strike right in the center of your bed. Most terrifying of all, waking up in a cold sweat from a bad dream and letting out a tiny scream of panic would wipe out your entire city block. you'd wake up to find everyone you love reduced to ash by your own voice. And because of this total loss of subconscious control, standard medical care becomes completely impossible. If you're in a car accident and put under anesthesia, waking up groggy and mumbling incoherently, as patients always do, will instantly vaporize the surgical team and collapse the entire hospital on top of hundreds of innocent patients. There is literally no doctor, dentist, or paramedic on Earth who could ever safely treat you. Section 4. The Tragic Comic Reality. Look, this isn't just theoretical. Marvel writers have spent decades showing how this burden brought nothing but devastation to Black Bolt's timeline. In his youth, he tried to stop a fleeing Kree ship with his voice, but the wreckage plummeted and accidentally murdered his own parents. In World War Hulk, a mere whisper tore chunks off the moon. And that final movie moment from the Multiverse of Madness? When Scarlet Witch removes his mouth with magic, the electron energy reflects back and implodes his skull. It brilliantly illustrates his razor-thin margin of error. A microscopic containment failure within his own biology is instantly lethal to himself. So let's look at how this compares to other famous cursed heroes. Cyclops wears a ruby quartz visor, but hey, he can still laugh, talk, and joke. Rogue wears gloves, but she can safely tell someone she loves them. The Hulk requires anger to trigger, so a calm Bruce Banner can live a relatively normal life. But your power? It's tied directly to the fundamental involuntary mechanism of human expression and respiration. You don't just need a gadget, you require absolute constant silence. And this makes Black Bolt a figure of terrifying isolation. Even when sitting on the Illuminati Council among peers like Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Professor Xavier, he's just an isolated spectator. While they argue, laugh, and scheme, he just sits in stone-faced silence. The most powerful minds on Earth look at him with profound unease, knowing a lost temper or a sudden sneeze would instantly erase the entire city around them. If you had this power in the real world, you wouldn't be an Avengers celebrated in parades. No way. You would be a walking, breathing, uncontrolled thermonuclear weapon with a hair-trigger temper. No government would let you walk freely. You would be tracked by satellite surveillance and armed drones around the clock as the highest priority national security threat on Earth. And frankly, they'd be entirely justified. Why should millions live under the constant threat that you might choke on a glass of water? Section 5. The Price of Absolute Power. The crucial point we arrive at is that even if you somehow survived the physical reality of this power, you'd ultimately be destroyed by the emotional isolation. Human beings are social creatures, right? We connect through communication. But for you, spontaneous laughter is a mass casualty event. You can never sob or wail when you experience deep grief. You have to swallow it in suffocating silence. True intimacy is impossible because a single sigh of contentment could vaporize your partner right in your arms. In the comics, Black Bolt has Queen Medusa as a telepathic translator. You wouldn't have her. You'd rely on text-to-speech apps, unable to ever safely hold someone you love. Your entire existence becomes living inside a psychological sensory deprivation chamber where the walls are made of nitroglycerin. Denying a human being the ability to make sound is recognized by psychologists as a severe form of torture. With this power, you would be both the prisoner and the torturer, waking up every single morning terrified to even clear your throat, eventually developing crippling anxiety and severe, life-threatening insomnia. Ultimately, Black Bolt serves as one of the greatest philosophical warnings in modern fiction. It strips away the glamorous, childish illusion of superpowers and exposes the terrifying physics and psychology of unchecked destruction. It shows us that absolute power doesn't grant absolute freedom. It demands absolute restraint, requiring the total sacrifice of your voice, your sanity, and your basic humanity. This explainer really makes you realize something profound about what we truly value. You wouldn't become a superhero. You'd become a prisoner of your own throat. The greatest power of all might just be the simple, beautiful freedom to whisper, to laugh, and to be heard by the people you love. So I leave you with this question. Knowing the agonizing silent reality of this curse, if you were offered the ultimate power tomorrow, would you still take it?
Please like and subscribe.